The thumbnails.
Incoming transmission.
Oh, welcome back. We are screaming in agony because we have all been in the depths of the Sexy Candle episode.
Oh, my.
Oh, yes, the sex
They
candle.
had lots
We
of characters in this episode who went to the depths, didn't they?
Don't dress this episode around. Like, let's just get it out there. All right. This is
is
it.
weird.
This is the episode. It's Beverly Fucks a Ghost. Wrapped up in a Mills and Boone book.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
I have cured plagues. I've been the CMO on a ship for 18 years, but you bugger one ghost, and all of a sudden you're Dr. Ghost Bugger.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say a quick hello to Captain Mom Dove, who apparently has a new name. Hi, good evening, and happy religious holiday. Yes, happy religious holiday to you as well. And then our good buddy, My Figure Universe. Greetings and salutations. So good to see you. G'day, as he says. I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my wonderful panel here. My two co-hosts, Jason, and myself would be Joe, but we're not a law firm. But I do want to introduce our guest, the amazing. This is Philip Bryan. Philip, how are you, sir?
Not that Philip Bryan. This Philip Bryan.
Yes,
I'm doing well.
Indeed.
Glad to be back.
That's great. We're glad to have you. We are talking about probably one of the most controversial episodes of TNG. At least the weirdest episode of TNG. Jason's still laughing about it. I assume he just finished watching it for the first time in some time, as did I. I have to admit, I don't remember this episode, but I remember everybody talking about it. So rewatching it this week was like, I'm surprised that I didn't remember this. This is so weird.
You didn't remember the episode.
I did not remember the episode. But
I remembered it, and then I remembered why I wasn't watching it.
Yeah, there you go. Jason, we're aghast, and if you please, hopefully you can read this synopsis.
Okay. Okay. All right. I am a mature adult. I can do this. Dr. Crusher meets the man in her dead grandmother's life. Sorry, I threw up in my mouth a little bit. When she tries to put her affairs in order, whom one of the local people warn her to stay away from it by not lighting the candle that has been lit for generations. But she's the next generation, so it's cool.
I reckon whoever wrote that synopsis was really proud of themselves.
That was Chat GPT, wasn't it?
No. That was...
Put your affairs in order. Damn, I'm for writing that.
She has to reach deep down in herself after her affairs get in order.
Oh boy. All right. Well,
it brings her to the climax of the episode.
Oh no. Let us
keep going. He'll keep going, Joe, unless you press that second.
I know.
All
right.
Go. Beverly did that a couple of times in this episode.
This episode. All right. I'm gonna start off with VHS Jace because we got Jace giggles this week. So if you please.
I wonder how a season 1 episode snuck its way into season 7. That's the first question I've got about this episode. And it does feel like they went up to Gates and went, hey, look, I know we've screwed you over in the past. What would you like to do a story about? And she's picked up from her dressing room this particular Mills and Boone book, which I showed earlier, and gone, yeah, sounds about right. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous in concept. It's kind of creepy because not only is she fall in love with her dead grandmother's spirit, she continues to stay in love with him, even though he says, just like your grandmother and the great-grandmother. Ew. So it's like, it's one thing you're having sex with an interdimensional being, but it's your grandmother's love it. And then it's like the whole generation of it. It's just, yeah. Anyway, but besides that, it's just boring. It's boring. It makes stupidly no sense. I mean, Jace, I'll get you to do the impression again. The guy that tells her to not, light the candle.
You didn't
Can you
light
please,
the
Jace?
candle. I'll wash my hands of it, but I'll have my hands back in it in the next scene.
But what doesn't he say? Why don't light the candle?
Yeah.
Like, you could have just said, hey, look, if you light this candle, this dead guy's going to come back in the form of a ghost, try to seduce you, and then everything's going to go bad. So just don't light it. Done.
Yeah.
But clearly the people at New Scotland don't like sharing. But
They
there's a
weren't
lot
doing
more going
short
to it.
treks yet.
Yeah.
Now,
look,
He could have just
It's-
told the authorities at one point as well, just like, hey, there's a perv ghost that's attached to this candle, and it's boffing, old lady Howard. No,
Not only
No,
does
you
it make
cannot
sense,
do that.
not only does it make sense, it's schmaltzy, it's cringeworthy, and it's an absolute blight on that final season of Star Trek.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Philip.
I concur. A couple of things. So you want to know how that ended up in season 1? They dropped a script off of someone's table in season 1, and then they get to season 7. They got to wrap it up, and they're like, "Oh, we found another one. We need 26 episodes or whatever this season. Let's just do this one." Here's the thing: this was directed by the great Star Trek director Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah.
And not
that
even
name
he can
rules.
make this horrible script good.
Yeah.
Like it's bad. So here's the first thing when you say what did I just watch? The opening scene is like a daytime drama set from the 80s or 70s, and then that fits the melodrama and bad acting to follow. It's really, really obnoxious. In fact, our good friend Michael Dorn said it was a ripoff of Anne Rice's The Witching Hour and not a good one.
Mm.
Oh. Well said. Well said. Jason Roy Guest.
Oh God. What can I say about Sub Rosa that has not been said before? It's one of those it's one of those episodes that is so incredibly bad and so incredibly misguided that it almost comes around and becomes entertaining again. And but for all the wrong reasons, because I was laughing at this episode so much. I will say there are some sequences in it that are actually directed really well. And I liked Grandmama's Howard's house. I thought, oh, that is a really neat, it looks lived in. Unlike a lot of Star Trek, it looks like somebody actually lived there. I appreciated that. I think Gates McFadden tried her best, but it was just so bad. Particularly whenever Ronan first communes with her, and she's like, "I'm going to call the Enterprise." What's happening? She doesn't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, bad touch.
Jack never did it before.
Jack and maybe Jean-Luc either. I don't know.
Maybe
That's
Jean-Luc.
like-
I don't know. But yeah, this is just crummy. It's weird. It's bad, and I have to admit I laughed most at this line.
I did fall asleep reading a particularly erotic chapter in my grandmother's journal.
Well done.
Who says that?
That was worth
that
it.
is-
That was worth
I
it.
picked up my grandmother's journal. Ooh, there was all kinds of sexy things in it. Ooh, I had all kinds of erotic dreams last night thinking about these 30-year-old hands on my centuries-year-old grandmother's wrinkly prune-like leather body.
Wow, you
And Troy's totally cool with it.
yeah, Troy was all into that. Oh, really?
I haven't been touched there since the eugenics war. Oh, God.
Oh
I
my
haven't been touched there since Jim Kirk did it. Talk about going where no man has gone before. Oh, Granny's teeth fell out. Do you think that she gave him cookies afterwards? Or do you think she gave him like ribbon candy or something?
There's a darkness to this we're avoiding, though. And the darkness is, the question would be, has Beverly been totally influenced? She's not in her right mind, right? And he communes with her. So this dude is basically responsible for generational rape.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And this episode is so incompetent that it just glosses over it.
Yes.
And it's gross. It is
Mhm.
absolutely gross how badly handled this was.
Yeah. And they glossing over it's put it mildly, because it's kind of like she justifies it. She's like, for whatever else he was, he made my grandma happy. Well, he was a rapist.
Yeah, that's what he was.
And a predator.
She never was in her right mind, so
Yeah.
that's not true. She wasn't really happy because she
Right.
wasn't really given a choice.
Yeah. Oh,
It's gross.
oh, there's some.
It's
It's a
gross.
very.
It's still funny though, the show. I mean, not that part of it, but there are some other
He's just talking about the darker side. And it's very funny though. No. So I'm surprised that there wasn't a Me Too in space for this one years later. This is just.
I'm sure. I'm sure it probably happened.
Yeah. And did the entity actually die, or because she like zapped him? But I didn't think a phaser would do it because he didn't seem to be a corporeal being.
I don't think they cared at that point. I think they put so little thought into it that it's just like, who cares?
You know,
Just
someone
wrap
on the
it up.
internet's put a ghost trap there. They've edited in a ghost trap. You know that.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Who you gonna call?
I wondered if this was maybe some attempt at a Halloween episode, like some really bad attempt at a Halloween episode, but it aired in
be.
January. I went, it's like, when did it air? It
Oh.
aired in January. And I've decided this is the cat's paw of TNG.
Oh wow. This is perfect timing. My figure universe. Beverly crossed the streams.
It did.
Ew.
Well said. Of course, my mom, Grandma, Ghost Blinker, Jerry Springer in space.
You know who looked
And then
really annoyed
seriously-
in this episode, though? Who is Patrick Stewart.
Mhm.
Because you see Patrick Stewart throughout this, he looks bored or annoyed, whether he's in
Yeah.
the background or whether he's having to deliver lines. Like,
Yeah.
I think he was more angry that Beverly was, not that she was going and leaving the Federation, is that he was stuck in that scene. That's why I reckon he was really annoyed.
The real
Well-
anger was me being here.
And I could be incorrect about this, but I think this is fairly as the lead of the series. Patrick was on set, even on a lot of days he wasn't filming. Like it's like his casting call was continuous, so he was probably on set a lot for this nonsense. Whereas Worf and Riker, they probably were in there for 2 days and shot a couple scenes and had the week off.
Oh,
You know how you were saying it was directed by Jonathan Frakes? It was also a story by Jerry Taylor and written by Brannon Braga. It was the A team on this.
Wow.
There are no excuses with this one, hey. This is an unmitigated failure on all those. This is one where they took a swing and they totally missed.
That's wild. Yeah, such top tier.
Everybody has a bad day at
directors.
the office.
Yeah,
Everybody has a bad
everybody's
day.
got it. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of bad days, this is where Sulu gets yoked.
Mr. Smooth, there's nothing there.
I thought we were scrapping this segment, Joe.
Oh, I thought you meant in the future. Jason, why would they do that? Why would they make this mitigated mess?
Which one?
Jason Roy, yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting this.
Okay. Why would they do this? I think that Star Trek has had a mixed history with horror themed episodes. I think they were trying to do something stylistic and they were trying to do something a little scary. And I think that, I don't know, I guess somebody saw Ghost and then Wuthering Heights and just decided, what if we take these two things and smash them together? And by the time they realized that they didn't have another episode to shoot instead, it was too late. They'd already had the sets built. It's like, well, Grandmama's house looks really good. The cemetery looks okay. And, it's fine. Incidentally, one of my favorite things about this episode is the fact that they hid Easter eggs on the tombstones, thinking that no one would ever see them in standard definition.
Really?
And here we are with
good one.
these 4K transfers, and now we can see this
McFly?
Vader, and McFly.
Vader! Wow.
Yes, they are. There's McFly in the background right there. But yes, Marty McFly and Darth Vader are buried alongside Grandmama Howard.
Hey, hang on a minute.
Wow.
You don't know that Marty McFly in his future ended up going so far into the future that he ended up joining the Federation, became an admiral.
Either that, or he got out of his time machine wearing his red vest and instantly died.
Mm.
You just take the fun out of everything, don't you?
I do. That is my job.
All right,
That's why they
Philip.
did that.
Why would they do it? Is because they didn't have
Yeah.
enough good scripts for a full season at the end, and they'd been promising Gates McFadden that she would get her own story arc for I don't know how many years, and she was just beating that drum, and they were getting to the end, and they gave her one, and I think that's really it. And you're right. There's not a. They may have had a good idea in there at some point. It just got lost over and over and over again. But no, this is a pale comparison if they're trying to shoot for something like Ghost.
Yeah. Can you imagine like doing, hey, we did Best of Both Worlds, and we did, all these great, and what else did you? Oh, we did we had to do that. VHS Jace, please. Why would
I
you do
think also they may have been really cocky at this point. Hit show, everybody's loving it, movies announced, we can do whatever we want, and we are just going to shit gold. And they crapped all right, but it wasn't
Right.
gold at all.
Mhm.
It was rather more messier than that. No, I think there was a bit of hubris by them when they wrote this. And like Philip said, it was absolutely about, I think, giving Gates McFadden what she wanted from a story, and they just completely missed the mark. And also I think out of desperation after 7 seasons trying to come up with ideas, crossing genres, because it's very much a genre show, isn't it? Next Generation.
Right.
We take a
Yeah.
theme in a genre and we play with an idea. And I think, they were just really running out of steam here. I, like most people, don't have a strong memory of this until I recently watched it again. I think this is a trauma episode where you block it out because there's really, I know we're moving on to a next segment in a minute, but
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't find the goodness in this. I can't find it.
Oh man.
That's it.
I wonder because they were ramping up for Journey's End and the final episode, and even starting to ramp up toward Generations. If there just wasn't a lot of focus on some of these toward the end of season 7, middle of season 7.
I think that's an absolutely valid point. I think so. That's exactly what would have been happening. They would have been stretched thin.
24
Yeah.
episodes is a lot of episodes.
Mm.
Somebody
Yeah,
said,
that's true.
Strange New Worlds is going to have 24 episodes this season. I think I would lose my mind. And I'd
Yeah.
be like, how? How is this possible? Forgetting
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how TV used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
you could
that's why
afford
we
to
have
do it then.
episodes like Sub Rosa.
Right. You got to fill it in somehow, and somehow is usually not such a great one. But then again, that's how we have the agony booth. If they didn't have these filler episodes, we wouldn't have this sub show that's so good.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. Give us more episodes so we can have more of these in some of the newer seasons. Because we can't just do every episode of Picard season 2 again.
There's definitely some episodes of Discovery.
Oh, okay. Well,
On the eve of the next season, I still say it. It's a middling
Oh,
series
alright.
at best. So we can dig into that.
We'll dig into that. For me, I think that, a lot of your points are absolutely valid, and I cannot argue those. But in the rewatch, I will say that this was a little bit of fun because I should have looked up all the actors that were playing Irish people to see if they were actually Irish, but I didn't. So I can't say if they were just
doubt it.
bad. I think because those accents were like really over the top. So I think that they were really phoning it in for this one because, like you guys said, it's just filler. They're just having fun. They're not really making any life changing. They're not going to leave you with a life lesson that's going to be lingering in your mind, like you shall now and forever be my friend. Ship safe. Those big ones that we always go back to. The needs of the lady outweigh the needs of the few of the one. Not in this guy. This is just one lady needs to get some really good loving, and the only way to do it is a manifestation ghost from a candle. So yeah, I just think they wanted to have some fun and give Gates her moment. So we will somehow find out what redeeming features there are.
It looks like gold. Tastes like gold.
It is gold.
You know, I was just thinking about what you said about they gave this episode to Gates just to to satisfy her. They also gave her an episode to direct because she wanted to direct, and they gave her Genesis, which is also a bad episode.
It's also on the wheel.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if this was done intentionally. Like, well, if Gates wants an episode about Dr. Crusher, she wants to direct, we'll show her. We'll give her the worst ones. I mean, it's
nasty, petty
possible.
stuff.
There
but it
was
is
some
Hollywood.
there was some tension between Gates and a few of the producers, so that does.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's noted that happened. But Philip, any redeeming features for you this episode?
I found the Ronan's, which, by the way, him using Ronan just is a little frustrating because there was no sword fighting going on here. But that the I found his early '90s over the top romantic novel hair quite impressive.
Actually, yeah, I'll give you that. That is a redeeming feature.
Yeah, that's some impressive hair. Also, here's a redeeming feature. When I first logged in, I was speaking to VHS Jace, and he told me that he might have miscued the wrong episode and watched a little bit of The Inner Light, which reminded me of how much I enjoyed that episode. So there's a redeeming quality.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, you
That's
really
a great
do?
episode. Such a great episode.
That happens to be one of my least. I mean, this one was far worse. I will say that for sure. But I'm not an Inner Light fan. But go ahead.
I'm a big Inner Light fan, but that's, I guess, I told him I consider Inner Light, Carbon Creek, and like City on the Edge of Forever all in that same kind of standalone bottle that works outside of Star Trek.
Yeah,
that's usually why I think those. Well, Inner Light could have been another sci-fi series, so not so much Star Trek. But anyway, VHS Jace.
I already told you last time I got no redeeming features. What are you asking me for?
Come on, you gotta have something.
This is crap. This is awful. This is a waste of my 45 minutes. The only good thing is I get an excuse to bitch about it. That is the only good thing. Because really, and I'm gonna do it again, she fucks a ghost, dude. How can you find anything great out of this? Like, no. Man. In all seriousness, yeah, the hair. I'm with Philip. That was beautiful hair. Says the two bald
I absolutely
guys.
love the two bald guys. Are like, that hair was amazing.
Hey man, we appreciate hair more than you can understand.
I guess we should at least give them a honorable mention for trying to maybe explore female sexual desires and fantasies. They just did it so poorly; it just became really uncomfortable.
Yeah, look, women frighten me the most of the time. Is if that's what women are fantasizing about, I'm in a lot of trouble.
He's like, I cannot be a corporeal being. All right, Jason Roy Gaston, redeeming features.
God. Okay, I actually think the episode was well directed.
Oh,
I do.
Okay.
I think it was well directed. I think Jonathan Frakes did a really good job. I think that the sets were really, really nice. I know the cemetery scene looked kind of soap opera-ish, but I liked the cemetery. I mean, if you really look at it, they had to build this thing up on a second level so they could lower the coffin down, and that's dedication right there. That's something you don't think about. And you know what? There was actually a pretty creepy moment in this episode where I was like genuinely like, oh no. And that was whenever they beam the coffin up so that they can examine the body. Which, it makes me wonder, why didn't they just beam the coffin down in the first place instead of having to dig that hole? But whatever. But whenever Ronan like possesses the dead grandma and she gets up and she does, and then she tells, "Okay, have faith in me." I thought that was really super creepy. Now I thought it was a little overdone. It was like 70s movie creepy.
Roger Corman.
Whenever her eyes open and they're like that greenish color and everything, that was really creepy. I liked that. I kind of wish we'd had more of zombie grandma.
I will avenge myself.
And I don't know. Whenever he, I also appreciated the fact that whenever Ronan left Grandma Howard's body, whenever he
Mhm.
pulled out of Grandma Howard's body. That the old woman who was playing Grandma Howard went, "Ugh," and then like slowly laid back. And I'm like, honey, you're dead.
Mhm.
You're dead. You
Yeah.
don't slowly lay back, oh, my back hurts. No, you're just you know,
You
I don't
just
know.
reminded me that he was joining with the grandma and granddaughter in the same time frame, and that added a whole new level of creep I didn't
Yeah.
realize until
Oh,
just
that's
now.
right.
Could you
Yeah.
could you
Yeah,
imagine the pillow
thanks,
talk
Dave.
with this
Roche's
guy? Though?
menage a trois.
It's just oh, you like that? Yeah, your great grandma liked that too. You like
Yeah.
it so,
Oh,
You know
you liked
that's
it so
happening.
much she lost her
Do me like you
falsity.
did grandma. Give it to me like you did your great
Yeah,
grandmother.
this made your great grandmother's toes curled during the
God.
bubonic
Oh.
plague.
In saying that, it would
really
be
good.
interesting to see if all the same buttons work. I would
Yeah,
assume so.
Is it hereditary? I don't know.
Yeah, every woman's different, but is it hereditary during the? Oh God, what does this show do?
I mean, okay, being ticklish is hereditary, so just being ticklish in a different way. I'm sure it's got to be.
could be.
Yeah.
What he was doing.
This
Do you
is-
think he hung around in Grandma too long after she initially passed?
Because that's
Like,
what he
oh,
comes
he had
out
to
Is
of.
go
he not
somewhere.
only an interdimensional, like, rapist who likes raping dead people as well?
Oh, he's a necro.
This makes me wonder
He's
though.
a spectrum
Whenever
necrophiliac.
whenever they vaporize whenever Beverly vaporizes the candle and she
Yeah.
goes, "You have nowhere else to go," and he goes, "Yes, I do," and he starts coming towards her and she starts shooting him with the phaser and he's I'm like,
Yeah.
go back into dead grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Maybe
back
that's what
into
he
dead
did.
grandma, jump out of the coffin and like run away like
It's like a Scooby Doo type of thing.
that would have
yes.
been a much more fun ending, is like Beverly chasing her dead grandmother around New Scotland.
Oh God.
Who's that chasing Miss Howard with a phaser? Why is Miss Howard? I thought Miss Howard was dead. She's looking fantastic. Look at how satisfied she looks.
Oh, man. So that was going to be one of my redeeming features. Since he was not a corporeal being, he probably couldn't be killed by phaser, and he's still probably floating around waiting for the next.
That is the last of
probably
my
waiting for
worries
Jack,
at
so-
this point.
Oh no, they
know,
they
but
had a
At that
thinking-
point, I'm like, I don't care if she kills him with a rubber band. Let's just end this episode.
they had Barkley beamed down with like a dust buster, like sucking all the particles out of the air.
No, but I was thinking, like, what happens if Star Trek Legacy they go back to this planet?
They won't.
Jack,
They won't.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Because Jack would have that. He'd have that hereditary thing, so it'd be like, Jack, I love you, Jack. Who the devil is that? Oh my goodness! Oh,
Yeah,
oh my!
Exactly.
I don't know what just happened, but I like it.
Yeah, touch me in all the right places.
but Wes was fine because everybody hated Wesley. So they were
Yeah,
like, no,
yeah,
we
not
don't want
Wesley.
Wesley.
I didn't.
Yeah, they skipped him.
Where was Wesley? This was his grandmother. Where was?
Yeah, he didn't show
where
up.
the heck was
Well-
Wesley?
Selfish little prick. Like, where was he?
No. It's like,
Wasn't he in
yeah,
like the time
Wesley-
traveler guy thing?
No,
Wasn't
no,
he
not
like?
at this point. Not at this point. He was still in
Oh.
the academy. So it's like, I don't
He
know,
would've got
just some
time
line
off.
like Wesley would have been here, but he had like, I don't know, studying or something like that. He's got a girlfriend.
Was this maybe
Oh.
shot out of order, like that? This aired as the 14th episode, but was shot much later. I don't know.
I don't know. I was just wondering where the heck
But
Wesley.
Wesley misses a lot of things. Just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jack. Yeah, Miss Jack.
Yeah.
Storylines.
And one of my favorite redeeming features is Emperor Palpatine great grandmother. She just starts zapping. I don't know what to do, so I'm going to start zapping. Meh.
Looks like Ronan is satisfying Data at that point. Data's just
Yeah. And then, Geordi, who had absolutely nothing to do, just gets zapped and yells at one of the aliens for messing with whatever quasi technology that they had on the.
Oh my gosh. That is my favorite scene in the whole episode, is whenever
See?
they're in the weather substation and they're
Right.
they're just sitting there going, I don't know why everything's not working in here. excuse me, what are you doing over there? And, like, the guy's literally like 3 feet away from them, like ripping things out of there, going, no, you cannot do it. I'm going to rip all this stuff out. I'm totally not drunk. And he's, how did you not notice the drunken Scotsman 3 feet away from you tearing up the weather substation that you're trying to investigate why it's not working properly?
And like typical Scotsmen, they don't explain themselves, do they?
No.
They don't explain what they're doing.
You don't understand. There's a horny ghost in the candle. I have to stop it. Wait, there's a what?
What? But just hold on a second. Let's just talk this out.
Have we tried scanning that candle with a tricorder? Let's try that. Oh, hey, there is a horny ghost in here. Look, horny ghost. I'll be darned.
Yeah. Philip,
that wasn't their best shot scene. So we talked about, Jonathan Frakes had moments with good direction. That scene where you're right, someone's 3 feet away ripping it apart, and they're just like, "Excuse me, sir, you're disassembling the antiphasic converter or something."
Yeah, it was bizarre.
You're disassembling the antiphasic converter.
Yeah. And I did love this.
Will be avenged. Manchester.
There, a scene that I love is when Beverly's in the house and then all of a sudden it gets filled randomly with roses all over the place. I thought that was very well done because there's absolutely nothing and then just a plethora of roses, like very funly shot.
That's not the first time it happens either, because she's at the cemetery. She talks to Quint, the drunken Scots guy who just won't tell her that there's a horny ghost in the candle, and then she turns around and there's like flowers all over Nana's grave.
Right.
Like. And I'm just like, okay, this is how the scene should have gone. Enterprise, something weird just happened. Can you scan this area?
Not once.
Not once. No. Not once did they.
Even right at the beginning when the weirdest thing happens, when that dude says, "Don't light the candle," shouldn't you be going, pressing your badge straight away? Enterprise, send down 2 security people immediately. I've just been verbally attacked.
Right.
It's really weird.
If you don't get out of here in 10 seconds, I'm going to call security, and there'll be security all over this place in less than a minute. Call them now, Bev.
Yeah.
Do it now.
I was thinking when I was watching the episode I shouldn't have been watching before this one in a lie. And this episode, it occurred to me twice. When there is weird stuff happening in this point in their career, wouldn't you just be yelling Q immediately every time?
Yeah.
Q, where are you?
Q, stop it! Q's on the toilet going, what?
That would be my go-to every time something weird happened.
Who gave you this?
Wait, have they ever done that?
I'll turn you back into an Irish setter again.
Oh, no. Did they ever do that, though? Where, like, weird stuff is going on, and then Picard or somebody goes, Q, knock it off.
Usually about 35-minute mark of the episode.
I do think there were times they thought it might be Q, but it was always a passing line. Could this be Q? And they're like, yeah, but we can detect a something.
I'm sure that they probably blame Q for things that wasn't even Q's fault. Like, the engines break down. LeVar goes, damn it, Q.
You're in 10 forward. What does that smell? Damn it, Q.
Or, a Riker shows up. He's 30 minutes late for his shift. His zipper's still down. He's still all sweaty. He wanders onto the bridge. Picard goes, what the hell? Why are you so late for your shift? And Riker goes, damn it, Q.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, bye.
I don't even remember what he did, but it was really bad. It was really bad.
Yeah.
Now, I do think there's a missed opportunity because this episode was bad, so I feel like they should have leaned into it. And when Data leans down and there's the dead drunk Scotsman, I was like, is he going to say he's dead, Geordie? Because I could almost feel it.
Joe, what happens when somebody mentions...
I was so excited to push that button. Your eyes lit up, and I was like, "Oh, it's the time!" And then, you started talking, so I didn't want to interrupt you. Yes, our wonderful segment within a segment called "Missed Opportunity" is one of the great things that Jace added to this, and we.
Sorry, segment's just a throwaway clip, Joe.
Kind of off topic, but I don't know if you've ever seen that Disney movie Treasure Planet. The main character of the movie's called Jim. And I was listening to the director's commentary, and he said at one point, Dr. Doppler was going to look at the pirate that comes into the inn at first, and he was going to look at him and go, "He's dead, Jim." Disney wouldn't let them do it.
Oh, they probably had to pay for that. I'm sure Paramount.
Yeah, I'm sure lawyers would have gotten
You
involved.
can own a. Well, can you own a sentence? You might be able to own a sentence.
Yeah, you might be.
I don't know, but it would have been a fantastic joke.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Do I leave it now to you, Jace? For
Oh, is it time for that time? Are
It's
we done
time
already? We do this
done.
before Aftermath? We do this.
Yeah,
before
because Aftermath comes after.
All right, Joe, do you want to start grabbing some people? Because it's
Yes,
time
so we've got-
for...
Yeah.
You're right. Hang on, let me play the clip. Don't jump the gun there, Joe.
Not jumping
It's
nothing.
time for Name the Trick.
It's time for Name That Trekisode. The hell is that?
All right.
Can't make it out this week, can we?
No.
Neutral zone.
Oh.
Damn it! No.
I don't know. I was just. You know, there's a 1 in 177% chance I would have been right.
That is correct. That is correct. Now, last time you were here, Philip, did you play Name That Trekisode with us?
I think so.
Yep. So basically, the name of the game show is pretty easy.
Yep.
There's an image there from an episode of Star Trek. Over 30 seconds, it will start to become clearer once you know the name, or if you know the name of it.
Based on the color spectrum, it feels TNG, but I could be wrong.
Ooh, you could be. But those colors are used in a very 20, 25-year span, I would say.
Yeah.
And yeah, you yell out if you think you know the title, and then we'll see if you're correct or not. Now, Joe, you're going to assign some of the people watching right now.
Indeed.
And you're going to assign us to 3 of them, to each one of you.
Right. All right. So Cosmic Mom's coming with me. Sorry, Mom. And Jason Roy Gaston, you're getting My Figure Universe. And Philip Bryan, you're getting yourself.
All right.
Oh, so if he wins a prize. That's actually not a bad idea for us.
Not a bad idea. Yeah.
All right, we're get ready to go, guys. Let's do it. It's time for Name That Trekisode. Got the 60.
I have my glasses on too, so it's so it's clear.
Sensing some freaks in this picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like Tasha.
Season 1. Season 1.
Is this the Arsenal of Freedom?
Yep.
You got it.
Correct. Jason has got it correct. That is a fantastic get, Jason. I didn't think that would have been.
Season 1, episode 6.
16, I believe.
You got the title.
Arsenal of Freedom. So well done. And Philip, you knew that as well. You was on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
Well done. How about you, Joe? Did you have any idea?
No. Even when it was clear, I was like, nope.
Season 1
so
episodes
My Figure
of
Universe
TNG
has won, Joe.
My Figure Universe, congratulations. Reach out to me on social medias. You have my Instagram, you have our Instagram, you have my Instagram, you probably have the other 2 Jasons, but you can reach out to Captain's Quadrant.
Yeah, I ain't going to send you shit.
So you're probably better off just reaching the Captain's Quadrant. You can chat with me there, and you will get a beautiful, wonderful Captain's Quadrant t-shirt.
Fantastic. All right. And that was Name That Trekisode.
Yes. And we have some exciting news for you. We are going to do Stupid Star Trek Question.
We are.
It's time for Stupid Star Trek Questions.
Yes, this is our season finale. We are going to be diving into Discovery. So since we are doing so, we're going to do a Stupid Star Trek Question as a thank you for everybody who's been a guest and who's hung out with us this season on the Captain's Quadrant. So, folks, gentlemen, why do all caves have flat floors?
There is something called work health safety policies, which is designed around the safety of employees working in a workspace. Being actors, being asked to go from one point to the other, it would be deemed an unnecessary risk to do that inside a studio set.
There's an episode. Yeah, there's an episode where, like, Worf's brother is helping a tribe, and it seems like those caves actually did have a little more levels moving around. But you're right. In general, it's just a floor.
It's just
the caves in Wesley's last regular episode also had levels, but I don't know. I do think now, I'm not an expert, but it is possible that some caves form, they flood with water, the sediment sinks to the bottom, and when the water evaporates, you are left with a flat surface at the bottom. So geologically, it is possible. But most of the
And-
time, also, you have these like cavernous dips that go down, but that would be really hard to film in.
Devil in the Dark,
or
is the
you've
thing making them.
or you've overspent on your final episode and your budget's limited, and no one's going to notice because it's on really bad resolution TV.
There you go.
Until they're remastered and we can see the Darth Vader and Marty McFly.
You know what I really noticed a lot is the black paper on the consoles now.
Oh,
that is
yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah.
So you can see where they've lit the set and the light is obviously reflecting off one of those. So they just put black matte paper there.
Yep.
And you wouldn't have noticed it back in the day, but you notice it now in 4K.
Yeah.
Like Jason, he's the opposite of 4K.
He's not 4K.
He's down to 720. There you go.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Red Letter Media actually has a pretty recent video where they are showing all of the black pieces of paper in every scene and all the little pieces of trash that were on the floor and the legs from the lighting rigs that you could see and the microphone stands and everything. Just everything we can see.
Those guys are great. Yeah, I didn't
Red
know
Letter
they'd done
Media
that.
is
It's cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
back to us, the Captain's Quadrant. I just want to say thank you, Patrick Kelly 368, for your question. Patrick Kelly 368, big shout out to you. Appreciate that. We are going to hop into Aftermath because we have some Star Trek news to talk about too, folks. There it is.
Now, why don't you go back to your quarters? I'll be along shortly to say hello.
I read some Star Trek news today. I'm excited to see if it's what I read.
Oh, okay. It's terrible when I say the quiet part loud. Sorry about that. But first of all, let's go into the chats. We're going to get, there were some guesses. We had Q-less episode and Skin of Evil, but and Last Outpost. But you have a cute kitty, Jason Roy Gaston.
Kitties, there were two of them. I had two of them jump into my lap.
Oh, man.
Murder Bean and Demona.
Jason, and then I also have a black cat over here. I almost brought him up here, but he's large and takes up
that's the rule. If a cat jumps in your lap, you have to show everybody.
Yeah, there you go. Show and tell with our animals. Dropping science, son. Yes, Jason Roy Gaston was definitely dropping science on the whole cave bit.
Speaking of which, there we go.
Oh, there it is. The battle cat.
I picked her up and she farted. That was pretty nasty.
All right, so
like a bagpipe.
Yeah, there was a bit of news. The deeper cut is a young Rachel Garrett character, first introduced in Star Trek Next Generation, Yesterday's Enterprise, will make an appearance in the upcoming TV movie Section 31, starring Michelle Yeoh, and we got a nice look at, I'm assuming, a bad guy in the upcoming Section 31.
Jojo, we will kill the Batman. Either that or that's Darth Vader from the back.
Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully I have a feeling the villain's going to be pretty badass. So that looked, the whole lighting and there's like tattoos plus the mechanical stuff. I think that's going to be really cool. And we got a really cool piece.
Can I just say before you move on to the next
thing,
and
absolutely.
this is where my hot take, I'm kind of not excited about that news.
Really?
And I'll tell you why I'm not excited, because Star Trek's such an expansive universe. We keep making it small. I'm a bit over younger version of characters at this point. We've been flooded with so many younger version of characters. Me personally, it doesn't excite me. I'm not going to hate on it because I haven't seen it in context. And there might be a really cool reason why it's in context. But putting that news out doesn't inspire me about give me more details about the plot. That's what I really want to know.
It does clue us into the era.
Yeah, I suppose it gives a clue to that, but I think we're going to be seeing multiple timelines with this one. It would be my guess. But again, it's just the fact of we get a young Garrett. Okay. So
I thought on that. The Enterprise C was what, around 2340, 2350, somewhere around then. And the time of Pike which is the Discovery era, is around the 2250s. So that's like 80 years. So I'm wondering if there's going to be like time travel shenanigans or something.
I think you're right, and I think that season 1 of Strange New Worlds is 2259. I think at one point that was kind of where it was. So 6 years before Kirk becomes captain. So you're right. It's going. She's post TOS films. This Section 31 looks like it's post TOS films, unless there's more time travel involved.
Well, there's no guarantee of where she ended up after she used the Guardian of Forever either. I mean, she could have ended up post TOS films. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm very interested. I'm also interested because I don't know if you've got this bit of news that you're going to share, but they have said that first of all, they said that there are 3 Star Trek films in development. We'll see.
Yeah, that was my next one. Yeah, so here we go.
I'm just going to let you do your news before I say anything.
Thank you. Breaking new movie updates. So 3 movie production, Star Trek 4, which has a new screenwriter, Steve Yockey, the flight attendant. I'm not sure if I know that one. If you guys know one, feel free to talk about
that was the one with the chick from The Big Bang Theory. That what's her name? Starts with a K. She's awesome.
Casey Crusoe?
Harlequin. Yeah.
Kelly Kuko.
Yeah, Kelly Kuko.
Yeah.
That.
Wow. The prequel film, directed by Toby Haynes from Andor. I'm sure VHS Jason will appreciate that. Plus, Kalinda Vasquez project announced 2021. So I don't know the Kalinda Vasquez project. Jason, you seem to be Jason Gaston. You seem to be well versed in all these information. So please,
I know nothing about them. I
give you I got some things to say about all 4 of those.
Project is supposed to be a prequel to the Kelvin movies, which I thought was Enterprise. Whatever. I don't know. I'll watch more Kelvin movies. I'm just kind of more invested in the Prime universe right now. But if they're good, they're good. The third one, I have no idea what that is. But there was an announcement that if the Section 31 movie does well, that they have more long treks that they're going to do.
Yes.
It's strongly hinted that one of them will be a Star Trek Legacy movie.
Oh.
Streaming movie. Yep.
So we will see. We will see about that.
Interesting.
From what I understand, the prequel one is about Robert April as captain of the Enterprise.
I heard that.
Oh, wow. So before Pike.
Before Pike. Yeah.
Can you throw that graphic back up for me, please, Joe?
Which one? The movie one or the...
Yeah, the one with the 4 movies listed.
Sure.
Visually.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. The first one about Star Trek 4 with the new screenwriter. Do you know how many bloody screenwriters and versions we've already had for Star Trek 4? How is this even news at this point? It's absolutely, that's just designed as clickbait for the fans. You know what? Develop a script, get it greenlit, then share the news, because this is number 11 or 12. And to me, the longer it keeps going, how are you building up momentum in this? Where's the audience for Star Trek 4 besides your hardcore Star Trek fans? Where's Grandma and Grandpa who go to the movies 3 times a year? Why the hell are they going to be interested in Star Trek 4, which by any best case scenario is a decade after Star Trek Beyond? I think, personally, it will be. 2016
Monster
was
Maroons.
Star Trek Beyond.
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy shoot. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay, the prequel film directed by Toby Haynes. What is Paramount's obsession with prequels? It's too much at this point. We've had Enterprise, Strange New Worlds, Discovery for the first couple of seasons. I mean, prequel. Like this is the universe expansive enough, pardon the pun, to go a lot larger with new stories set in the future. Plus the project announced in nothing. So you announced that 3 years ago, and that's all you're going to comment on? You've got nothing out of 3 years of development to announce that, oh, yeah, there's a project. That's development hell. That's not going anywhere. Anyway, there's my rant. But good luck.
Right. Well, you have
great.
Yeah, you have one more rant, I hope.
Still hoping that the Quentin Tarantino movie will show up at some point or another.
I just hope they would do a comic or something. Just do something or an animated version of it or something. I would just love to. Yeah, I don't think we're going to movie will get off the ground.
If the streaming movies start to take off, long treks as Jason called them, there's one that I really wish for, and I may have mentioned this before, and that would be that Jake Sisko goes as a reporter, like a really respected one, and he goes and interviews a retired Worf about what happened to the Enterprise E because it's been classified for so long. And then we see a film that's the envelope. It opens up with that, with the interview, and then we see a flashback of what actually happened to the Enterprise E.
You know what's great about the concept of long treks is it's kind of a remedy to what I complain about. It's a way of expanding the universe in such an interesting way by having an anthology series. I think they should embrace that. Yeah. And everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone. And do it multimedia. Maybe some episodes you can't get the actors that did. Well, let's do an animated episode, a long trek one. Let's do whatever way you want to kind of tell your story. That's a great place to put it, I reckon.
I've always said Star Trek needs to do an anthology show, 10 episodes a season, shop it out to the best writers. You don't have a writer's room. You just say, hey, we're doing a Star Trek series, the best of the best. Who's interested in doing that? Because who knows, somebody, I don't know, Stephen King may go, hey, you know what? I've always wanted to try to write a Star Trek episode. All right, Stephen King, who else?
You're going to get big names too.
Yeah,
that's kind of how the original series was, in a sense. Like,
I just think because that's what X-Files did for a while. And X-Files, whenever they were doing that, had some fantastic episodes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And a lot of quality creators came through X-Files too.
Right.
Vince Gilligan being probably the big one you can think of.
Can you show over my shoulder for a moment? Over this shoulder?
Yeah, we'll expand it out for you, mate. Let's have a look. Is that one there? Nope, that's me. Yeah. No, that's Jason. No, that's Joe. So you're finally
there. It is.
Yeah, I wanted to believe it.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, anthology. Anthology all the way. Make it happen, pal.
Yeah.
Do something right.
My figure universe says if they have to do another Kelvin film, I'd like to have a throwaway comment that Chekhov is on the Reliant. Oh,
yes.
Maybe
they can. Think it's smart though. In this scenario where you still you haven't kind of found your feet theatrically to be pushing such a large scale of a universe currently on streaming and then go a completely different timeline of the films. That's the question I ask.
I think the Kelvin universe should be one of those streaming movies. I just don't think, unless they're going to find a way to bring Hemsworth in as George Kirk, then I don't think that's the way to go. If they can bring Hemsworth in, it kind of makes sense. Without him, I'd make it one of the streaming movies.
Yeah, I mean, since they had so much development hell, I think the best idea is to close the gap and close the timeline. Just get back to that first Star Trek and then push the Narada. Was it Narada? That was the Romulan ship? Yeah, and just push that back into the space fold and just not have anything else happen. Oh, that was weird. And then just have a different story altogether. Just have it just him. Don't even need the other people.
Do something like they did in the novels where they basically have to sacrifice their universe for the good of all the other universes out there and have them all
Crisis on Infinite Earths, basically.
Yeah. You could have the Kelvin crew, and if Zachary Quinto is like, I want to come back, it's fine. We don't need you. We got Ethan Peck over here. He can cross over and he can be the Kirk. We can have Chief O'Brien come over here. 7 of 9, you come over here. Harry Kim, Ensign Harry Kim. It's been 20 years. You're still an ensign. Come on over here. Helix.
Stay where you are.
What is right now? I've got the adjuster here, and it just keeps unfocusing on me. I don't get it.
Because you move your hand in front of the iris, and it throws it off.
To take your medication today.
Yeah, but I've turned off the autofocus, and it's still. Oh yeah, there it goes.
Oh, that's weird.
It's like the autofocus keeps coming back on.
All right, so we got one more thing that. As the Family Guy says, you know what boils my blood? And I think this is all you, VHS Jace. You know what this is?
Oh, okay. This is the Variety story.
Yes.
That Alex Kurtzman did about the future of Star Trek. Now, okay, let's look past the normal kind of promotion. Oh, yeah, we got this show coming out. Alex Kurtzman. What an egotistical D-bag this guy is. All right. Alex Kirkman, who once directed Tom Cruise in The Mummy. All right. Let's just really establish that. All right. Alex Kirkman, who went on to the article to say how he was brought on to bring Star Trek to the television, which is incorrect. It was Brian Fuller who was approached first. And it's Brian Fuller's name and still an executive producer on all this stuff. Alex Kirkman, who talked about the future of Star Trek, but not once is Terry Metalis mentioned. When he talks about fantastic creators or his Star Trek legacy, you're not going to get Star Trek legacy or any more Terry Metalis as long as Kurtzman there. And I think it's time for him to go. And I think it's time they bring in people who purely love Star Trek. Because I'm just going to say, I question how much he loves Star Trek, because this was a gig for him. He wasn't into Star Trek before he got signed on by JJ and Bad Robot, brought on a writing gig. There wasn't no legacy there. And you've got people there, like a Metalis, like lots of other people in the background, who they live and breathe. It's their heart and soul. And I think I am targeting this guy. Maybe I'm externalizing all my anger of where they don't seem to be clear in their future with Star Trek. But yeah, I was absolutely, I couldn't believe that article. And I couldn't believe the lack of recognizing the success of others and him taking, and it came across very clear to me, he's taking all the credit here. Well, let's just see how Starfleet Academy comes off.
Yeah.
All right. Because
he's the showrunner on that. So it's like he's got to actually be involved.
Yeah, but you want us all to buy into a concept where we've got to watch Star Trek characters who aren't Star Trek officers, who aren't Starfleet officers, and we've got to go for the buy-in on that. So, and that's my biggest problem too, because the more I think about it, so we're going to have all these students who are going to get into galactic adventures. So, like, what's going on here? Like, I'm very concerned about the future at the moment.
Starfleet Academy should have been a streaming movie. Again, another long track. That's a great place for it. Brian Fuller wanted Star Trek to be an anthology series, like Jason Roy said. Like, that was his goal, and he left that project. So, like, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there, and you're right. I mean, what a great idea to do that. Make it a movie, and if it's great, greenlight it for a series. But you know, at the moment, you're going all buy into something that I don't hear the fans screaming for. I don't hear them screaming for Starfleet Academy. Most Star Trek fans are doing the whole, oh yeah, but it's Star Trek, so I'll watch it, and you know, I'll give it a go, and I'm sure it'll be great. But that's just, to me, you just trying to come up with optimism to not face the reality. They're not treating your franchise with the respect it once was dealt with. And you can say what you like about the Bergman, Brannon era and all that, but they loved the franchise and they cared about it.
Yep. Totally agree.
Over.
All right.
Have a cup of coffee now and relax. It's a bad article. I do recommend to read it though, but it's a whopper. But there's a lot of good info about what is coming up in the world of Star Trek.
Yeah. All right. And I think that's going to wrap up this week. Does anybody have anything to say about the Variety article to add? No,
we don't. I just want Jason to shut up. So let's move on.
I do want your quick predictions on something though.
Oh, sure.
Do we get a T'Pol in season 3 of Strange New Worlds cameo?
No.
I would love to
I don't know.
I would love to see it. I would love to see any cameo from Strange New Worlds, you know, but I don't realistically see it happening. I think John.
We definitely get Bro, though, don't we?
John Billingsley, I believe, was offered a cameo in the pilot episode, but he turned it down.
Oh,
yeah.
He said that he did not want to get back into the makeup for just like a short cameo.
No T'Pol. What about a Sulu cameo?
Sulu would, yes. Sulu makes sense.
I could see another. I do think we're going to get another TNG crew member show up. It could be Sulu. Who's left? Chekhov could show up as a kid.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. Chekhov, I'm going to be on the ship someday. Yeah, get away from me.
As long as you got the same monkeys, Davy Jones hair.
Yeah, they got to put him in the monkeys. Yes, absolutely.
Chekhov and Sulu, are they the only two who haven't shown up on Strange New Worlds? I think that's it.
So we got McCoy. Yeah, McCoy.
Yeah. Now, McCoy could show up too. Yeah, I mean that'd be kind of cool because he has this big.
Could it be Carl Urban?
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
I would be.
Oh, they're gonna confuse everybody,
happen.
dude.
Who cares? The multiverse, baby. They can have the same face if they want to.
I would like to see them do a Kelvin crossover because they kind of did on Discovery one time.
They
Where
did.
They talked about the operative that came from the universe that was caused by the Romulan mining
Oh
vessel.
yeah.
That was cool. I would like to see an honest to goodness, like somebody from the Kelvin verse shows up on Strange New Worlds and they have to get him back, kind of like those old scientists.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Let me get this straight. You guys found a cure for death?
Yeah. Through a tribble?
Really? So there's like an immortal tribble running around the Enterprise. That's interesting. And the Enterprise is commanded by who? James Kirk, that douchebag who won't leave my ship?
Cybok. We're gonna get a character arc with him out.
Oh yeah.
Up the Cybok storyline.
Big character arc. Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I want to see Zachary Quinto cast as Cybok.
That was my question. Who would you put as Cybok?
You can do that too. You give him the beard. You just give him a bit of longer hair. Who cares? You know?
If Strange New Worlds finds a way to make Cybok interesting enough that I openly want to go watch The Final Frontier again, they deserve a medal.
And they could do it because that's a really good show. So that would be amazing.
You kind of mentioned earlier that when it's 6 years until Kirk becomes the captain of the Enterprise, is that correct? Is that the timeline?
That's what, and they referenced it being 2259, like in season 1. So in season 2, they might be at 2260 because it can clear that lots of months have gone by. But it's 5 to 6 years until Kirk's the captain. I think we're gonna get a time jump in season 3, though.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how long this show like this goes. I don't think we get 7 seasons anymore. I think 5 is probably.
I'm thinking 5.
Yeah, like what they're doing with Discovery, which I think is a good round number. That means you're getting 50 episodes, which is probably a good financial package deal for them because they probably can then on-sell it to cable stations and things like that as well. That's probably why they've gone with 50.
Yeah,
interesting, good stuff.
There is one advantage I see with Starfleet Academy. That's making fan service to explain the 1,000-year gap. That's an interesting thought.
I'm worried we're going to end up with Tilly running the Academy, though, and it's just going to be a nightmare.
No, I think Tilly will be all right. I like Tilly.
Tilly's come into her own.
I'm over Tilly's inner angst.
She's got over that. She's got over
I think she's over it, too.
I really liked Tilly the first season. She was probably my favorite. But I think what I struggled with is they kept telling us how much she has matured into this great leader, but I personally don't get that vibe from her. I still see her as that she's constantly rattled, unsure of herself. And I just didn't see the progression that I keep being told, because I loved Tilly the first season as this like ensign in awe, but
the problem is too now is because she's so gentle and soft in the beginning. Every time she's confident, I feel like she's faking it in the moment. So I don't actually believe that she's confident. She's just pretending so she doesn't look like an idiot in front of everyone.
Yeah,
which
I
is
can
very
go off on
honest
that for a while, but I think that there's just so often on Discovery that we have these good actors who aren't given the proper material.
Well, I'm hoping we get a lot more of Michael Chan. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, of course, we like to support our
good buddy Michael Chan. You can check out his interview in section 31.5, and he's hung out with us in the Agony booth, so be sure to watch that.
He put a great little video. He must be filming another gig at the moment. He was so excited because he was in a trailer that had a shower for the first time.
Oh wow!
He did TikTok where he's like around his like TV trailer, whatever. I'm like, good on you, Michael, mate, kicking ass out there in Toronto or Hollywood or wherever he is.
Yeah, Canadian Hollywood.
Yeah, good Canadian kid.
Yeah, he's a great dude. So, yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode and season finale of the Agony Booth. This is our 5th season of the Agony Booth.
I have no idea.
Yeah, sure. I'll make that up.
That sounds all this stuff. Yeah.
Would you say, Jason Roy Gaston?
You're counting?
Yeah, I guess so. I have to for the publication purposes. But we are going to be back next week, nonetheless, with the new. Do you mind if I post it?
Yeah, put it up.
All right. We got the brand new Star Trek Discovery Season 5, the finale. The Captain's Quadrant will be diving into each and every week that they do that, except for the last one.
Is Saru looking straight ahead, or is he looking at the screen like everyone else?
I think he's looking at it. Everybody's looking at the
not
screen.
Looking at the camera. No.
Looking at a moth in the corner.
Yeah.
What?
What is that? Like my cat.
Oh, it's your cat. Sorry.
All of a sudden, Saru's
I'm,
gonna start
like,
going.
I'm looking at the graphic going, where's the moth?
Yeah.
Saru's gonna start going. Like, there's nothing that says that Kelpians don't do that. Nothing in that.
That's true.
But
Nothing
yes,
in the Lord
Discovery next week. That's going to be fun.
I have high hopes for I have high hopes for the final season of Discovery. I think it has the potential to be its best season.
I agree. And then the connection to TNG, I'm told as well. So
there's
that beautiful Romulan scout vessel from
and there's promises that they're going to make it a hybrid of one continuous story and episodic. That there's going to be some things that get resolved in episodes before they move on. So it's going to have an overarching story, but it's also going to have things that get resolved along the way. And I think that's a really good combo, very DS9-ish.
Yeah.
Well, and even kind of getting into Picard, I suppose, isn't it? Picard had what I liked about Picard and Andor. You mentioned Andor earlier, where you have an overarching story, but like mini arcs within the series, like three or four different stories going on. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, excited for all that. Be sure to join us 9:00 every Friday. We're going to hop into it. Be sure to check us out on Sunday. Because we will be on, it'll be weird, but we will be on the Strange New Pod YouTube channel. Jason and I are doing the Last Days of Disco. It is a podcast festival where all the different podcasts are coming together. Tomorrow, Saturday, there's going to be a talk of the captains of Discovery, and that's myself and several different podcast hosts and co-hosts joined together. To talk about the series finale of Discovery and different captains. And there's going to be a whole lot. And Jason Roy Gaston and I, our co-hosts, are talking the Discovery's legacy and how legacy of Discovery pretty much shaped the current face of Star Trek that we get now. And we talk briefly on all 4 seasons of the show. That's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be on Sunday. And
I'm not on it because they asked me and I said, fuck off.
Well, he didn't say it like that. He's like, oh, sorry, guys. I had some stuff I had to do. There were like these drop bears and all this stuff. But yeah, we had
I was working
because
it's actually a Monday my time and I'm actually at work. So
yeah, so unfortunately Jace couldn't join us. But we do have a lot of other episodes that you may not have seen in this season of the Agony Booth, and we had one Ecstasy Booth. You can check out the Best of Both Worlds episode. There was a lot of fun there. Be sure to hang out with our friend Karin Nordine, who has 3 books that you got to go pick up from Amazon or wherever your books are sold. And check out her amazing true crime stories. There's so much fun there. Be sure to check out our friends, the Scarif podcast, for your unadulterated nerd talk on the Red 5 Network. A lot of fun there. And be sure to check out the Console Room, where we're talking Doctor Who. We just talked about the 4th Doctor, probably the favorite of the classic Doctors, and that is the amazing Tom Baker. And you can hang out with all of us in person in Trek, Long Island this June, the last day of May 31st through June 2nd. All 3 of the Captain's Quadrant. Yes, all 3 of us are going to be in person. We will
Can you believe Homeland Security just approved my visa? What are you guys thinking? Let me in your country. I have no idea.
Yeah, and we're going to go fill them up with whole pizza and and pastrami sandwiches.
Freedom.
Yeah, we're going to give them
I liked how you once asked me, you said, I'll take you to an Outback steakhouse. I'm like, so I'm going to fly 2,500 miles to eat fake Australian food. Nah, I'm good.
Hey, I ate fake American food whenever I was in Japan. It's so much fun.
Yeah,
so much fun.
And so, Philip, what do you got going on before we finally?
Well, of course, I would love it if you would join me over at This Philip Bryan, where I do talk about Star Trek quite a bit, but I mainly and often talk about reviewing novels. Work as do literary critic work, do a lot of Stephen King, Dean Koontz, Michael Conley, Anne Rice. It's a lot of good stuff there.
Definitely. So definitely check that out. And we will see you next week with Star Trek Discovery, friends.
See you then.